is that people are still using social media.
If something doesn't work, I'm not gonna be mad at it, like, then stop posting, or okay, that didn't work. Can we keep going?
That you can get to that place that you want to be.
As I learn in content creation, not being yourself over the head, but staying consistent with it and just keep going day to day.
Welcome to Create to Live podcast, the podcast where social media meets business and big dreams turn into bigger results.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, content creator, or a 9-to-5er, building your side hustle, you're in the right place.
Each week, we bring you actionable tips, inspiring stories, and insider strategies to help you grow your brand, monetize your passions, and create the success you seek. We are your hosts, Sherelle from Blue Wall Media
And Davon from Booker Consulting.
Together, let's create the life you want to live. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Create to Live podcast. I'm your host, Sherelle.
Whole time, it's your boy Davon in the building. You know what we're about to get into. Whole time.
So this episode, we are actually diving into how to keep up with social media. Social media is sometimes I won't even lie, you guys, as a social media manager, content creator, and a person who is on social media, it actually is very irritating how many changes and new things that you literally have to stay up to date with when it comes to social media. Like, it is ever changing, always doing something new, adding a new feature. There's a new platform. There's always something new. And I know that if I'm frustrated with it, I know that you guys are probably frustrated with it as well. So this episode is talking about the things that change and what stays the same, how to adapt, how to adjust, how to roll the punches of social media when you just want to make it happen.
Yep. Imagine as a social media manager, your whole job relies on getting likes, engagement. But if you don't know what to do, then you won't get engagement. Mm-hmm. But I think that goes into adaptation, knowing the trends, taking time to learn, taking time to grow. And as I learn in content creation, not being yourself over the head, but staying consistent with it and just keep going day to day. Because a trend, just what it is, it'll be here today and gone tomorrow, going next week, on a month. But it's not staying forever. In TikTok, it was about 5 new dances created in 1 year. I ain't never done the same thing. Oh, she will. You know, it's like, there's many dances. They dance on the wall now. They was doing the made for me. They were doing that dance.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
They were doing that. That girl, she was in the car. They got famous. What other dance they was doing? They was doing mob. Left foot first, put your right hand on top, then mob.
What's so crazy
that was a dance.
Social media is so wild that I don't even think I was on that side of social media to know some of those dances that you're bringing up.
That was a whole thing. Yep. And I think back in the day, like 2018, 2008, when dances first started coming out, like Soulja Boy, them dances would last for like forever, 10 years. So it's just seeing, like, when first social media happened, you would be famous for a while, but now the trends and you gotta adapt so much. It's a lot, man.
And I think one thing something I want to bring up is when it comes to something about social media, the things that still remain is that people are still using social media for entertainment purposes, for educational purposes, and for just to scroll purposes. So something that I want to encourage people to know is that even though things are always changing, they're always switching up the algorithm or giving new features, something that will stay the same is people using social media. And social media is for people to utilize for both pleasure, but also to be able to grow, to be able to meet new people, to network, to grow a business, to make a business, things like that. That's one thing that remains the same with social media, is that people use it, and it's for people, made by people, and it's used for people.
Made by people, for people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you use social media?
You're asking me. Oh.
Yes.
Do I use social media? Yes, I use social media on a business side and on a entertainment, pleasure, educational side. How about you?
I use them for both as well. I also think you should look at when you create content. It's like, what would you enjoy? What would you like to see?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess not creating for yourself, but you are quote unquote the consumer as well. So if you don't want to see an ad, you're like, oh my goodness, and you probably people probably else don't want to see an ad. So
Mm-hmm.
how can you make content you want to see and content other people want to see? That might be something to help with content as well. Because at the end of the day, like you said, regardless of a trend or what's going on, people want to watch what they want to watch, and you part of the
Mm-hmm.
people. So how can you incorporate the two?
Pay attention to your behavior on social media. I actually had to. I was like noticing myself. I was just scrolling, and there was this one quote. It said, "If you don't remember the last 5 pieces of content that you just watched, then it did not impact you, and that's not something you really cared about. But those random videos that you're like, I remember this video, those are the types of content that you like. So go back and review those types of content. Look and see, okay, what is it about this video that I like? Was it the sound design? Was it the color grading? Was it the way that they spoke? Was it what they were talking about? Things like that are hints to you as a human being. Okay, this is the type of content I like and I enjoy. How can I implement this in my content creation? How can I have my social media manager implement this in our social media? Things like that will really help you to be able to be a better content creator, be a better social media manager, because those are you as a human being using the social media are hints to what other people are possibly thinking and consuming as well.
I like that social media manager. So yeah, I think maybe that helps me go into content creation this week. Like what would help? How can I adapt to the situation? And how long do I want to do it? If something doesn't work, am I gonna be mad at it? Like then stop posting, or okay, that didn't work. Can we keep going? But I agree with you. I agree with you. The test of times for real.
Have
I
you
feel.
ever gone back to look at some of your old content you've made and be like, what was I thinking when I created that?
All the time. And I'm like, wow, that was not good. That's the beauty, because you like, man, that wasn't good, but I'm still able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the same thing?
Oh, most definitely. It's a specific series. I did the taking my boyfriend on a date. Every 3 months, I take my boyfriend on a date. And I was looking back at it, and was creating another video for it, for the series. And I was like, I don't like the way that I have it typed out. And I don't like that there's no sound design. I don't like that it's not really like showing enough personality. Like, yeah, it's showing what we did, but I felt like I could give more. And so this latest video that I had did, I actually changed up the format of it. I've added color grading to it. I changed the way that I had the title come in on the graphics of it. Like I literally switched it up so much. And even though like I had people tell me like that was a great video, or I really liked it, I really enjoyed it, like I like how you changed, like you're upgrading your content. And it was like it may have not done the best in numbers, primarily because of inconsistency and things like that. But for me, I enjoyed watching it. Like I literally went back and watched it a couple times. Not because, oh, look at me, I created, but more of like I just really enjoyed that video, you know? And seeing that kind of inspired me to be like, okay, what other content did I create beforehand that I can recreate or change the format of it, which actually goes into my next point is repurposing old content or old formats to adjust to the new formats on social media. Like something for Instagram, they've now shifted into having the 3 minutes feature on their social media. Yes, they've had some issues and things like that, but they have that new feature, and it's like, okay, how can I adapt to posting 3 minute videos that give value, that are entertaining, that will keep people watching for at least one whole minute, when people are pushing short format of like 20 seconds, 40 seconds, or really just like 6 seconds type of thing. So how do you adjust those old formats into longer formats, or to the newer formats that social media is pushing out there? That's something that I think is really important, is that when you look at your old content, let's see, okay, this performed well in this format, let's see if I can recreate it in this newer look in a longer format and see if it does well. Or this video didn't do as well, it didn't do good at all, let me see if I change it. Maybe it was the format of it, maybe it's because it was short. Let me see if I can redo this video, make it longer, and see how well it does in that way. Social media is all about testing.
I'm gonna say it again. If you quit, you won't have time to change it, because that's a piggyback off Sherelle now. She can go into her workplace and be like, she can actually look at her old content and say, man, that content was not good. And now I can go back and repurpose. But if you think your video deserve 1 million views and you like, I didn't get 1 million views, you don't change anything and you keep on doing, it's like insanity is doing the same thing over expect different results. So if she goes to her job Monday, I'm doing the same thing because it should be working. So it might not work. And then, but now she might go into, well, okay, I'm gonna do some sound design, color grading, whatever, all the things you just said. And then she see results. She's like, oh, okay, let me do it for this while. Now she's adapting. That's what she's talking about. So for me, now I could go into content like, all right, this week, it's all about reflection, keeping going. Because I'm sure it was like, this is quote that said, if you look at your art from a while ago and think it was perfect, you started too late or something like that. Basically, like you want your stuff to be perfect in day one, and then so I ain't gonna post till it's perfect. I ain't gonna post till it's perfect. It also speaks that we're a growing process, and you gotta post even though you're not perfect, and even though you think you should get views. Since it's not perfect, you probably shouldn't get views, but now that it's getting better, then you just gotta put the work in. I was about to say, I asked my kids, if you started football today, do you expect to be like Tom Brady?
Duh.
The first day, no skills. So you gotta learn the skill.
It kind of reminds me of like the steps of hypothesis testing. You first formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is basically like, okay, I believe that this apple will drop it, or this apple will break if I drop it 10 feet. That's a hypothesis. Like, that's just your statement. Or I guess for content creation, I believe that I can make it to 10,000 followers if I post every day for 2 years straight. That's a hypothesis. From the hypothesis, after you formulate the hypothesis, you're going to collect data, which is basically doing your research, looking into, okay, how many people have done this before, whether you go watch YouTube videos, like, okay, how have they grown social media, what are they saying works for them, and then you analyze that data so that you can able to perform it for yourself. So then you go and test it out 2 years. You post on social media for every single day for 2 years to get to that 10,000 followers. And then at the end of those 2 years, you draw your conclusion to see, okay, what actually worked.
So you want people to wait 10? You said 10
I'm not
years?
saying they should wait 2 years. What I'm saying is have a hypothesis. My hypothesis that I said was, I believe that I can gain 10,000 followers in 2 years for posting every single day. That's a random hypothesis. Your hypothesis could say, I can get 10,000 followers in 2 months from posting every single day. Or I can post, I can gain 100,000 followers in 1 year just from posting 3 times a day. Those are different hypotheses that you can create for yourself. And in a sense, it's like making a goal. Your hypothesis is your goal. This is what I want to do. I want to say you have a goal. I want to have 100,000 followers by the end of this year. Then your hypothesis is, okay, what do I have to do to get to that, to reach that goal? If that's the goal that I want, then I need to make a hypothesis. And then from the hypothesis, okay, what do I need to do? What are some formats? Do I need to find my niche? What do I want to post? What kind of content works? What kind of formats of this content works? Do reels work better than carousels, or do carousels work better than reels for this specific niche? Say cooking. Which one works better? Recipe videos or instructional videos? Cleaning dishes or dirty dishes? Like things like random. Not random, but figuring out those specifics is how you collect your data. Then you analyze that data by doing your own, what's called project on it, actually applying it, going those 2 years of posting, or going that 1 year of posting 3 times a day. Then at the end of it, you draw your conclusion. Did you reach your 100,000? Did you not reach your 100,000? What worked? What didn't work? How did you do posting 3 times a day or posting every single day for 2 years? And from that, now you have your report. what will work in the future. It's all science, basically.
I heard it there. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for me. Do your science projects, get your hypothesis. But you can't quit during this during the event. You gotta keep going. You don't see it in the first month. If you're gonna do a year, you quit 6 months, you messed up enough the scientific research. You supposed to do a year and you quit 9 months, you messed up the scientific research. So set your goals and go for them and reach them.
One thing I want to leave you all with as my takeaway, is if you're not posting, then the social media changes and effects do not apply to you because you're not posting. So if you're not going to post, then you trying to understand the algorithm and trying to do all this research and stuff is not going to help you in any manner because you don't have anything out there. So if you want to be a content creator, if you want to reach 100,000 followers, if you want to have your own community, you need to post. Whether it's good or not, it's all about just being consistent and being authentic in every post that you create so that you can get to that place that you want to be.
Blessed be.
Awesome. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I feel like this episode really was me just being able to vent and even just talk to myself of understanding, okay, this is how it's going to work. Let's make it happen now for myself as a content creator, myself as a social media manager, and also just being able to help you all as well, whoever is listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you tune in every single Monday to another episode of Create to Live podcast. Bye. Wow. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Create to Live podcast. Make sure you tune in every single week to our podcast we release on Mondays. Subscribe, follow us. We are on Spotify podcasts as well as Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio podcasts. If you want to follow us on social media, my social media is bluewall.media. That's BLUWALL.media on Instagram.
You can follow me at Davon.Booker, BOOKR, whole time. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you again for tuning in to Create to Live podcast.